Hi, it's Josh again. I'm going to go over my round 2 game from the Continental Open, which I played in a couple weeks ago. This is my first tournament game with white in a very long time. And my opponent he was rated about 100 points below me, but he was sort of a young, probably high school, early college player who clearly was playing a lot, so I was a little bit worried because I'm kind of rusty. But let's see what happened. I think it's a pretty entertaining game. I'm not going to give away the result now, so enjoy the ride. So I opened with d4. I've been playing this forever. Briefly, I thought about trying e4 in this tournament, but I decided, I just hate playing it to Sicilian. I've always played d4, so since I'm not ready, I'll just bring that out. Knight f6. And here, of course, most people, I usually played bishop g5. This tournament, I decided to change around my openings a bit, and I played bishop f4. So the start of the London system. I don't like it as much as the Trempowski, but I just don't really remember a lot of the theory. I don't know how much theory has changed, so I decided to give this a try. So he played c5, and this is one of the most active ways of me in the London system. I played kind of passively with c3, and now there are a lot of lines with queen b6 and putting pressure. And this is a common theme in those Trempowski openings too. Is things like getting in your queen b6 with pressure on the b2 pawn that happens whenever this dark square bishop gets developed. But he decided to continue sort of less aggressively with e6, so I have to play e3. He played b6, and I was looking to fianchetto the queenside bishop. Knight f3, sort of standard moves. And now he surprised me a little bit. I guess this is a standard idea, but I'm not sure I like it. He played bishop a6. Now, the good thing is it trades off my very powerful bishop, gets rid of his bad bishop, but I think his knight gets a little misplaced on a6, and I'm actually able to exploit that in the game, as we'll see. So, I like the idea, but I'm not quite sure, because this knight really doesn't belong here. So I castle. Bishop e7. Here I played h3, just to give my bishop somewhere to run to, in case he tries to go after with knight h5 or something. But here, e4 is sort of based on the tactic I used later. e4 can be played. The point is that if he plays knight takes, queen d3 hits the a6 knight and the e4 knight, and it's going to win material. So he can't take it, so it allows me to get an e4 right away. My concern was c takes d4, and it's not quite as good. If I could try e5 here, and maybe and here knight g3, and I've sacked a pawn. Fritz actually likes this position a lot for white. He gives me having an advantage. I don't know. So if you're more gambit inclined, you're probably like this. d6 is really weak. It's going to take a while for him to castle. Maybe I can get my knights in there. For example, knight e4, knight b5, or just rook c1. So it's a possibility. So maybe e4 right away is the way to play it. Once again, the nice thing of this move is it takes advantage of the fact that this knight is awkwardly placed, which is what I like to do. But I played bishop h3, castles. And again, maybe e4 here isn't quite as strong, because he hits, again, the same tactic, but he hits me with d5. And it's a little bit annoying. By the way, earlier, if I played e4 before he's castled, he can't hit me with this, because I pick up the knight, which is another reason why the knight's misplaced. So anyway, he plays, after castles, I just play queen e2. And the point of queen e2 is a similar idea to e4. It attacks the knight to gain tempo to play e4. So it's sort of like a reordering of playing e4 straight away. So I just remember the knight plays knight c7. I play e4. And here, I'm pretty happy about my position. I have traded off that strong bishop, but my dark square bishop is active. I've gotten in e4 quickly, so I'm going to have a space advantage in the center. I think I have a nice game. I'm happy I have a playable middle game. That's what I wanted out of the opening. I think he can hit me with d5 right away, in which case I'm just going to play something like knight b to d2. And then if he takes here, knight takes, we trade here. And say I play bishop e5. Here, again, I think it's fairly equal. I like my position a little bit more. He's a little bit more cramped. It's hard for him to evict that bishop without weakening e6. I'm threatening things like knight c6, potentially. Actually, can I do that right away? Maybe I can get away with something like knight c6 right away. Trying to trade off this bishop, but then his knight is well placed there, so maybe not. But anyway, the point of bishop e5, it looks fairly good. Fritz actually prefers white by a fair margin here. I'm not really sure why, so maybe you can give me your input. White certainly is comfortable to play, but So I think after e4, d5 would have been the result. Instead, he played rook b8. Now, this is a strange move. I guess the idea was that if I take on c5, he can capture with the b pawn and have the half-open b file. But I don't like it. The rook gets misplaced. And I get a cute little tactic here, too, as we'll see. So I just calmly develop with knight b, d2. He plays d5. And now the problem with d5 is I could just calmly play rook a, d1. I think I have a great game. But here I play the cute little tactic knight e5, threatening to come into c6 with a fork. Now, it's really hard for him to meet this threat, as it turns out. Because they're, like, for example, if he tries this, queen e8, controlling, I actually have moves like this. Let me think about this for a second. I think this move is the key. The point being, if he takes it, this knight hangs. So, it's really hard for him to meet the threat. So, after 95, he can't really play queen e8. If he plays queen here or something, that's just going to lose material to this. When if the rook moves, I royal fork him. So really, his only move after knight e5 is to move the rook. He played rook b7, knight c6, and now I thought, you know what, trading this knight for this bishop has got to be good for me. And I'm really happy. And then bishop g5, and I'm happy with my position. This pin is annoying. I'm threatening e5. I think I have a comfortable position. Now, I did overlook a little bit was he plays h6. Now here I played bishop h4 as I was planning. After the game, I was looking with my friend Jonathan, who also played in the tournament. I was looking at bishop f6, and we thought for some reason that this is really good. But I'm not so sure anymore because c takes d4 looks pretty annoying. If I play here, maybe this is really good for me. I'm going to get an attack. Yeah, actually, this might be the way to do it. So after h6, the point after taking, and this is that I've got this nice kingside attack coming, and he doesn't have much play on the queen side. So what else is he going to do? And if he doesn't do that, if pawn takes, I think I can hit him with knight takes or even queen takes. Knight takes and then probably f5 or something. So I think maybe taking an f4 would have been good. Instead, I played bishop h4, and I think this is still fine. g5 here. This is all sort of not surprising. Whoops, nope, not that. Takes, knight d5. And here's where I blunder. I don't know. Here I was having trouble. I think maybe just bishop e5 is a nice move. The point being that if he plays f6, it weakens e6, so f6, bishop h2. And he plays f5, just queen d3 or something. Here and here. And, maybe this is okay for me. His king side is pretty menacing, though, so maybe not. Instead, maybe here, this is sort of a key position to come up with a move. Maybe c4. The idea being, obviously, the knight can't move. The idea being if the knight could move somewhere like here. But I don't think that's all that great. Probably I can play something like here. So f5 seems like the move, but then e6 is weak and I play queen e2. Now he could try f4, takes. The problem with this is I have a slightly better game. We're going to trade into an ending. I'm slightly better here, but obviously it's very equal. This pawn is a little bit weak. It's a minor piece ending. If I could trade queens, so I have a slight advantage in the endgame, but I think black could hold it with accurate play. Now I wouldn't mind playing this just because I think my endgame skills are going to be better than a lot of the people I'm playing at this level. But it's just something to think about. So maybe after knight d5 here, c4 was the move. But instead I play f4. My thinking was I want to get a kingside attack. His king is going to be very vulnerable, so I tried to rip things open. The problem, though, is here, maybe taking with the queen. I took with the pawn, f5. This happened in the game. Queen e5, knight f6. And here, I thought I was worse here, but actually maybe I'm okay. I take. Okay, here's where I make my critical mistake. I played h4. We'll talk about why I played that and why that was a bad idea in a minute. I was really worried about this knight. That's why I really didn't like these lines, because all of a sudden his knight is getting in all these squares. Maybe, though, rook a to e1. I thought about this during the game with the idea of sacking the exchange, but I didn't think it was all that great, and I thought it was a little too desperate. In hindsight, though, it's actually pretty good. Fritz really likes this exchange sacrifice. He thinks white is better here. So pawn takes, maybe trade, and then just take him with the queen. And I don't know. You know, I have a bishop and a pawn for the exchange, so that on some level that's not as good. But his king is very vulnerable, and my bishop and queen can be pretty strong together. For example, say he tries rook d7 here. Just bishop e5, and I think I have really good play. Maybe I should have played this. I think it's at least equal. Fritz really thinks white is better, which is surprising, because I don't think he would be overly optimistic about an exchange sacrifice. So that's a good sign, and I think might play out this position a few times against like a computer, because this is not the kind of position I would really go into unless I was desperate, and then I'd be happy to do it. But I wouldn't have chosen this, and so I want to see playing this out might help me understand rook sacrifices better. And I also think, by the way, that's a good way to sort of learn from your tournament games is if you had a position that you weren't sure about how to evaluate sort of during the game, and it involves sort of doing something you can't take back, like sacking an exchange, it can be fun to play out those positions. So I think this was an interesting possibility. So anyway, rook a1, the point is that if his knight gets too active, I'll just take it and then play with exchange sack. Instead I played h4. This was based on a blunder, just a miscalculation, and mainly after knight g4 I'm just worse. So if I want to play these lines where I took on d4, I need to be ready to sack the exchange, because after knight g4 I'm just worse. And the reason is because I thought queen e1, g takes, bishop takes, I'd be okay. I'd be able to regroup a little bit and then exploit this weak pawn. I forgot about queen d6, which it's just I'm just losing here. He's threatening mate and he's winning the d4 pawn. So this is my second game. Hadn't played in a long time. I won my first one pretty handily, but now I've just really screwed this up, and I thought, uh-oh, things, this tournament could be going down in flames. So what am I going to do? I just got to limp along as best I can. Bishop g3. He wins a pawn with check, and here I'm just playing for to hold out the draw in a bad position. Bishop f2. Here, what he really needs to do is just trade into an endgame. He should just do this, and now he is. Now he is just much better. And I can struggle through this ending, and maybe if he messes up I can hold it, but really this is what he should have done. Instead he didn't. Well, maybe he played queen f6. Maybe it's good to keep it on, because now he's got a lot of threats on the h-file. So I play this, trying to keep him off the h-file, queen f6. Rook f3, the idea of coming to h3. I just need to shore up the f-file. But he calmly plays rook g7, and I'm just in trouble. Rook d1, e5, and now these pawns are just going to roll down the board and crush me. So rook h3, I want to set up some discoveries, queen c6, rook c1, queen d5, and here I think, God, this attack is really a pain, so I got to trade off queens. I think, though, that he should just, by the way, starting about here, we are in serious time pressure. After he played queen d6 a while ago, when I'm just losing, I ate up a lot of time. Here, by now, I'm probably down to about a minute for 6 moves. No time delay. So I'm playing quick, which becomes interesting because he has a lot more time here. He's got. Hold on, let me get the score from it. I was recording. Oh, I stopped keeping track. But at the point where I stopped keeping track, he has about 10 minutes. I have about a minute. So, but he thought for a long time here, and I thought that was a good sign. He should just trade. And now I'm just crushed. But he didn't. And he ate up a lot of time there. And now I play this, and he ate up a little bit more time. And I'm playing instantly because I have no time, and I'm just, I'm close to feeling like resigning, but I'm just fighting on. And here he thought for a long time. And now, after queen, he got down, he has about a minute now. So he used probably 6-7 minutes in the last 2-3 moves, and that really he just seemed to have a lot of trouble with time pressure, and I was playing quickly, and I think he might have gotten nervous. He plays queen e8, and here, miraculously, I should just be crushed. I play queen b3 check. Now, obviously, this rook up, I'll just hit him with this and I'm winning. This rook up, probably going to lead to trouble for him. He should just play queen f7 when I really don't have anything. Maybe I trade queens and then try to play on in an inferior ending. So this, how does he take? Taking with the king seems bad. Taking with the rook also seems bad. I think probably this rook. when, I don't know, maybe something like this, and I'm losing, but maybe I can play on. Instead, he played king h7. Whoops, queen b3 check, king h7, and that's a mistake. The whole reason I play queen b3 check is that I can come over to h3. Now I'm threatening some annoying discoveries. Turns out he's just winning if he just plays something calm like queen h5. When, I don't know, maybe rook c7. I really don't know what I would have played. I would have had, a minute, so I would have just played something instantly. Probably rook c7. Or moving the bishop and trying to trade. Like maybe bishop e1 even. That would be losing, though, because he'd take and then have a discovery on the g4. So, I don't know. I would be in a lot of trouble. But we're both so low on time, he panicked, and he plays back to queen h3. He plays king g8. And here I instantly play this, just trying to repeat moves to get to time control. Maybe he'll slip up. And here, my opponent was getting really nervous in time pressure, and miraculously, he offered me a draw in a winning position. It's hard to evaluate. He was nervous. He's running low on time, although he's only got to make one more move. But he offered... well, the thing is, I don't think... okay, actually, to clarify, he didn't know how many moves he had left to time control. Neither of us were recording our moves anymore. I sort of pieced this together after the game. The last 3 or 4 moves were not written down. So I guess he didn't know, and he was really low on time, and he got nervous. And after I played queen b3 check, he just abruptly offered me a draw. And I accepted immediately, because I knew I was just completely busted here. So I ended up drawing the game, It was a weird game. I think he played slightly inaccurately in the opening, and I got a very comfortable position, starting with bishop g5. I think I have a great position, great play. And then I sort of screwed it up, Here I should have taken, played f4. And then, when it came time, I needed to step up and be brave about sacrificing the exchange. I think it would be a great exchange sacrifice. Whoops. Right here. And then, but instead, I blundered with h4 and I missed queen d6, and now, I'm just losing. But I persevered. I thought, maybe I can get into a worse ending and just try to grind it out. And this really was a key game for the tournament, because if I had lost this, I would have been, really demoralized. I'm rusty, and I would chalk it up to being rusty. I wouldn't feel terrible, because I was expecting to have some trouble not having played in so long. But now that I drew, I'm feeling a lot better, because I just gritted it out, and I got this sort of lucky draw out of the time pressure. And so then I was feeling good, and I thought, you know what, I'm not going to get in this situation again. It's not fun to be losing and have to sort of steal the draw. So this sort of inspired me to play the rest of the tournament, and you're going to see how that goes, starting with the next video. But I hope you've enjoyed this, and maybe you can find some improvements for me, or let me know what you think about the exchange tack, which Fritz seems to like a lot. I evaluated it as about equal when I was thinking during the game. So let me know what you think, and I hope you enjoyed. And round 3.